So first I want you to notice the word proposed in the heading. The goals may well shift, at least somewhat, as a result of your feedback today. All right, so these are not carved in stone, and you have a great opportunity to influence them. In a few minutes, you're going to have a chance to talk about them in your small groups around your breakfast tables, and we will welcome further input throughout the day and afterwards, because we expect to be in touch with you by email after the roundtable. Whose goals are these? These goals are proposed as a framework for guiding the future work of the Cape Cod Climate Change Collaborative. We're not asking you or your organization to formally accept the goals yourself, but you're certainly welcome to do so. You're not glued to the goals because you came, okay? But if you want to adopt them, great. And as I say, we're going to be massaging them for a while. We believe that the issues they address, the burning of fossil fuels, the transition to alternative energy, and assistance to the natural processes that absorb atmospheric carbon, are central to reducing global change, as Max has pointed out. And we hope that you'll participate fully in identifying and implementing promising practices that can be used locally to address these issues. Goal 1, 50% fossil fuel reduction on the Cape and Islands by 2030. Goal was first introduced in 2008 by the Cape and Islands Renewable Energy Collaborative, albeit without a specific long-term target date. As you know, and Max pointed out, the burning of fossil fuels is the primary culprit behind the potentially catastrophic increase in atmospheric greenhouse gases. Primary sources of these excess greenhouse gases in Massachusetts are transportation-related, residential, and commercial. Especially relevant for this goal will be the action recommendations of several of the groups meeting this afternoon, i.e. the transportation, built environment, and municipality sectors. Goal 2, 100% use of renewable electricity by 2050. Okay, 100% use of renewable electricity by 2050. In a number of ways. A, by encouraging Cape and Islands customers to buy renewable electricity in excess of state mandates. Number 2, increasing the amount of electricity production sited on or near the Cape and Islands. And number 3, shifting transportation systems and residential and commercial buildings to electricity from non-renewable sources. So three large strategies there. This goal addresses the question of where to turn from fossil fuels, and so complements Goal 1. It recognizes that wind and solar are plentiful in our region, and that a large wind farm is likely to come online nearby within the next 5 years. Goal 3, determine how the natural carbon balance on the Cape and Islands is changing over time, as Max mentioned. Recommend ways that Cape and Island residents can enhance carbon sequestration by natural processes. Okay, so this is the sequestration goal. The goal addresses the role of natural processes like photosynthesis by plants, the sequestration of carbon below ground, in removing greenhouse gases from the atmosphere, and ways that humans can strengthen those natural processes. We're fortunate to have the Woods Hole Research Center with us here on the Cape, and we're hoping that they will provide us with guidance particularly in relation to this goal. A net zero goal development team worked hard over the summer to develop these goals for your consideration. Members included Austin Brandt with the Cape Light Compact, Max Holmes, who you've met, Chris Powicki with Sierra Club of Cape Cod, and the Cape and Islands Renewable Energy Collaborative, Lauren Sinatra, the Energy Coordinator for the town of Nantucket, Dan and Jim Wolf of Cape Air, and myself. They're all with us here today. Please give them a hand. One challenge for some of us on that goal development team has been to understand how renewable energy credits are used to encourage the development of clean energy. If you'd like to learn more on that subject, I encourage you to attend Austin Brandt's success story later this morning and pigeonhole him at some point later in the day if you can't attend his story. Austin is over here at table 1. All right, now I'd like you to dig back into your packet and to find a one-page document called Toward a New Moral Vision. Some of us on the 5Cs board have been concerned that in our zeal to find technological solutions, we'll lose sight of the moral and ethical issues involved, related both to our personal behavior and to the actions we undertake at the societal level. 5C's board member Paul Hyannis has written this piece to remind us of the major changes needed in our understanding of where we each stand in relation to our planet, and the importance of ensuring the equitable distribution of resources as we make the technological shifts needed to dramatically reduce CO2 emissions. Please keep these issues in mind over the course of the day as we look at various possible solutions. I hope that the faith communities sector in your meeting this afternoon will bring these moral and ethical issues back to us through your deliberations. Paul, could you just stand up? Paul is the author. Thank you, Paul. In a minute, you're going to have a chance to discuss these 3 proposed net zero goals in your table groupings. A facilitator is at each table, along with someone to take notes. Facilitators and recorders have probably already identified themselves, but if you haven't, please do. And before I turn you loose for that discussion, I'd like you to take a look with me at the success story matrix in your packet. Okay, so you've got a matrix in the packet. The groupings are fairly complex, and so I want to make sure you can get to where you need to get to fairly quickly. So you see in the matrix that there are 3 blocks, right, each for a half an hour. And during each block, there are 5 success stories underway. So for each block, you're to choose a success story and find that location. Okay, you following me? Right? You'll end up, each of you, then listening to 3 success stories over the course of the morning. And I can just say that Table A here in the Bass River is over there by the AHA booth. Table B is back here, where you're seeing, we're delighted to have some students with us, and the students are currently at Table B. And then Barnstable 1, 2, and 3 are downstairs. So you're going to go down the stairs where you came in. You're going to turn left and go down the hall, and you'll see Barnstable 1, 2, and 3 down there. Okay, and so we're kicking off with Block A, and we've got a presentation by Susan Starkey at Table A, right over here on mobilizing your sector one community at a time, and particularly related to the faith communities sector. At the Table B, we've got clean energy aggregation. That's Austin Brandt's presentation. And downstairs, Barnstable 1 has Jim Wolf describing what Cape Air's been doing. Barnstable 2 has electric public transport on Martha's Vineyard with Angie Grant, and Toby Glidden is going to talk about his electric vehicle showroom down in Barnstable 3.